Yo, what's up guys, my name's Hakiii, and in this video we're gonna look at the best air vehicles in GTA 5 Online, from fighter jets to everything else the crazy skies of GTA has to offer. If you go on to enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like on it, and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and drop a sub so you never miss any more awesome videos like these, and let's get straight into it. Alright, now coming up first is the B-11. This plane is absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite fighter jets in the game. It's got tons of weapons to choose from. It's got one of the most weapons on a vehicle in the game, if not the most. The good old homing missiles. It's got the barrage missiles, which basically fires tons of rockets at one area at a time. It's extremely OP. And then we have the explosive MG, just like on the Hydra and stuff like that, which is also really nice to use. And then you have a few other weapons you can choose from, but those three are probably my favorite, and I'd say the best ones to put on it. If you're doing a pilot roleplay or any type of army roleplay, this would be a great jet to use. This would be perfect for it, so highly recommend you guys use this one. It's not the fastest jet in the game, and it doesn't have the fastest acceleration when taking off, but it still has some good speed, and I think the great range of weapons you have with it make up for that. And the handling of it can be a little annoying sometimes, but it's definitely doable. It's not that bad. Rockstar had to balance it out somehow and make things not as great, because if it did have amazing handling, amazing speed, amazing everything, including weapons, it would just be a little too OP. So it makes sense why it doesn't perform as well as some other jets, but don't get me wrong, it's still usable. And speaking of the weapons, again, there's a limited rounds of them, which is nice. And finally, the price tag isn't very friendly at $3.8 million. Moving on to the next one, we have the Hydra. The Hydra's been in the game for so long. It's been in the game since like 2014 or 2015, since the heist update, and it was easily the best air vehicle when it came out, and it still is one of the best air vehicles in the game today. The fact that it came out so long ago and it still is holding up in that best aircrafts list, that's really impressive, and it does deserve some respect for that. Now, going into the plane itself, it has a variety of really cool features. It has the homing missiles, both lock on and lock off, and it has the explosive cannon, which I think is a little bit better than the one on the B-11. I think it's a bit stronger, or it fires a bit quicker than the B-11. That's three very solid weapons right there, and I think the only weapons you can have on it, if we want to compare it a little bit more to the B-11, performance wise, it's definitely better than the B-11. It's one of the fastest overall vehicles in the game, not just aircrafts. It's very close to another jet that we're going to talk about later on, but it's extremely quick, its acceleration is amazing, and it's pretty easy to handle when you're in plane mode. There's actually two different modes we're going to talk about, which is a super unique feature about the Hydra. So obviously you have the regular plane mode where you just go forward and you can slow down a bit, and then you have to aim to go up and down, but the Hydra specifically has a very cool feature, which is basically like a helicopter feature. It's like a VTOL jet, and I would best describe it as just being in helicopter mode. So when you press RT or R2, you go forward in plane mode, but it's different when you're in helicopter mode. So when you hold right on the D-pad, you can switch between the two modes, and when you go in helicopter mode, you're gonna see you're just hovering around exactly like a helicopter, and when you press RT or R2, you're gonna go up, and instead of slowing down using LT or L2, it's gonna make you go down exactly like a helicopter would. It's not only a very cool feature, but it could also be a very helpful feature, because obviously when you use a plane, you need a good amount of area to be able to land, and what you can do with the Hydra is just switch into hover mode, basically helicopter mode, and then you can easily land exactly where you want, and you don't need a lot of space to be able to land that way. The Hydra is also one of the better planes to use for stunting if you're into like flying under bridges and just flying through tight spots. This is a solid choice to do that with. The price tag of it is steep once again, but honestly you gotta expect it with all of these vehicles in this video. It comes in at just under 4 million bucks, and if I haven't mentioned yet, you can find all the vehicles in this video in the Warstock Cash and Carry website. The next one is a helicopter, which is pretty rare because I mean usually planes are just a bit better than helicopters, but the Hakiii helicopter is an exception of that. Usually planes are just a bit better whether you want to get from point A to point B the fastest, or you might be using it for combat. Planes are usually better, but the Hakiii helicopter is once again very impressive and an exception of all of that. It's got a lot of great things about it that I would say differentiates itself from the other helicopters in the game, at least most of them. It can hold up to 4 people, so it's not like a 1 or 2 seater helicopter, which is nice. And not only is it good that it's a 4-seater, but all 4 people can use weapons at the same time, which is a big advantage. So you can have your entire CEO or MC club in one helicopter just shooting everyone from all angles. It has the best protection for a helicopter in the game. It takes 3 homing missiles to blow it up, which is as good as you're gonna get with a helicopter. We talked about the sick hover mode the Hydra has, has, and the Akula also has a really cool mode, and it is called stealth mode. And in stealth mode, it basically hides you from the map, so no one can even see a blimp of you on the map while you're in stealth mode. It also limits you from using any weapons, so it's not like extremely OP like that. It's not like infinite off the radar. It's not like calling Lester and you have it for an unlimited amount of time, because that would just be way too OP. You can customize it inside of your hanger, so you can put whatever paint job, and you also have some camo options for it. Not too much customization, but it's good that it has at least some customization. For weapons, you have unlimited rockets with it. You also have a bombing run you can do, which I gotta say shakes your screen like crazy. You can barely see what's happening in game after doing a carpet bombing. I find the handling not the best because it's extremely sensitive. Like when turning, sometimes the entire helicopter is gonna tilt like crazy, so it takes a bit of getting used to with the helicopter, and you gotta be somewhat careful because I've never seen a helicopter tilt that much when trying to turn with it. Moving on to possibly the best jet in the game, which is gonna be the P996 laser. I see it as the Hydra's long lost brother. You guys can probably notice they're very similar. They look very similar. I see them as almost identical, but the Hydra is a little bit more bulky. The Hydra's got a bit of a bigger stomach, I'd say. I can definitely see why people compare the laser with the Hydra, even though the price difference of them is actually very big. The laser is $2.5 million more than the Hydra, which I don't think is that justified, to be honest. It's a very steep price tag, and it comes in at 6.5 million bucks. So with this crazy high price tag, you think you get some sort of stuff with it, and yeah, you do get some top tier things with it. It's easily one of the fastest vehicles in the game, if not the #1 fastest. I know it's competing with like 1 or 2 other aircrafts that are also extremely fast, but I would say overall the laser is better. Now it's extremely fast, and it's also extremely easy to handle, to rapidly turn and just go up and down and move however you want. And so because of this speed and because of this great handling and acceleration and basically everything performance wise, you can probably tell it's very good to do stunting with. I'd say it's even a little better than the Hydra since it's less bulky as well, and it's faster than the Hydra, so that's another thing. It's safe to say the laser's got several advantages over the Hydra, but it doesn't have the hover mode like the Hydra, which is actually pretty substantial. That's the one big advantage the Hydra has, I'd say. Let me know down below in the comments which one you prefer. There's definitely a pretty big comparison between the two. Let's move on to a very obvious one, which is going to be the Mark II Oppressor. With all the controversy surrounding it, it's still one of the best, if not the best vehicle in the game, to be honest. It's extremely useful for doing missions or PvPing and basically anything you need to do in GTA. This is going to be an extremely useful vehicle for that. That's all there is to say about it, and it's got the most affordable price tag, or at least the closest price tag to being affordable, at $2,925,000. Which vehicles do you like most out of this list? And if you want to see the best weaponized vehicles in GTA 5 Online, click the video on screen now. I hope you all enjoyed that video, and peace.